Hey guys, what's going on? Lucky here. So just got to the shop. I just spent an entire week shooting another episode of Hot Rod Garage, and I am flogged, man. Every day is 10, 12 hours. We do it 5 days in a row. And it still works out. It's just a lot of work. Back at the shop, my buddy Mark has a touch of the OCD, stops by and likes to organize stuff for me, which is great considering I sometimes come in here at night and after the show, I'll have a little bit of energy. I'll come over here and knock out, some jobs or work on customers' cars and stuff. I end up leaving a mess. I call them lucky piles. Somebody a little spot where I did some AC and there's some tools over here, maybe some wiring and some stuff over there. So Mark comes in and organizes stuff, and I can just look around and see exactly where everything's at. So it's great. So now I'm off with the show for a week or so, and I can play some catch up, get some progress on the Mach 1. Nothing here needs any work. Well, it does need work, but I'm waiting on parts. My own stuff. Project X over there. Got some more plans for that thing. Office. Mark, I also put up some posters in my little entryway here, which is weird. I don't comfortable having pictures of myself on the wall. I'll probably hang something over that. But there's my old Chevelle 70 from back in the day. I've had that actually for a really long time. And that was the cover of CarCraft in 2017. That was back in the day right there. Actually, yeah, that was back in the day. That was 1997 right there. This is some John McGann. Shot that, I believe, yeah, he shot that. We went over to my buddy Van Langen and tore up his parking lot. It was a good time. Wes Allison did the picture, took the picture. What else? Oh, you hung some stuff up back over here. Cool. Nice. All right, cool. Oh, yeah, look at that right there. Little walk through. So there is Road Champ of my Chevelle back in the day. Just the cover of the magazine. And then there is the Savoy. And this is actually signed. I bumped into this guy at a shop. Oh, at a machine shop. He told me he had something for me. He hooked me up with that. And there's some moonshine in there. And some honey. I've got a bunch of these. One of these drawers is full of passes. I should hang these up somewhere because I have a bunch of them from all kinds of different events, and they always give you these lanyards, so I ended up just with boxes of them. Well, not boxes, but quite a few. This is kind of cool. From Power Tour 2023, Power Tour West, in the parking lot they had these little things strewn out, and they just tear them down, throw them in the trash. And I was like, man, if I would have thought about it, I would have got me some of those. And lo and behold, I think my buddy Joey, he got me a few extra feet. He got some, and then I got some. There we go. Power Tour glasses, 2017. Oh, I keep a bunch of actual tickets inside there. And just crashing, blowing stuff up here. Tony's on the pier. That's a Lucky's 75th Hot Rod anniversary glass. There's 2017, another one. Oh, hero cards of my hero. Those were the days. What else is in here? Military helmets. The Silver Surfer rules. That was actually on my car, and I had a little bit of a lean misfire, and I drove that fire till it went out. That was actually that car right there. Anyway, thanks Mark for organizing stuff in here. I got a bunch of these long hauler deals in my toolbox. I guess you should bring them all over here and hang them up. Now we're in the other unit. AC blowing. Still warm in here, but tolerable. Working on this project. I'm going to call it the Not a Hick. And yeah, I picked this thing up the other day. It is a 66 F100 on a 2008, I believe, Crown Victoria chassis with motor. People had some great ideas and started doing stuff, and then realized that maybe they ran over their head. They put it on I think Facebook Marketplace, and just wanted out of it. He said he wanted his driveway and his garage back. He wasn't going to finish. He already had a couple of pretty cool trucks. And I said, okay, we negotiated a deal. Mind you, this thing was absolutely a pile of parts. It was the whole back of my truck was full of the whole front clip. The doors were just slid over the hinges and closed. The bed was full of the hood. The inside, there was no seat. The seat was in the back of the truck, I think, along with tons of other parts. There's still stuff there. And it's sort of a rough build. I've already overhauled the instrument panel, mounted part of the e-brake, and decided I'm going to redo that. These guys had a clever idea that works on paper. They cut out portions of the firewall from the Crown Victoria and welded it into the firewall of the F100. In theory, that makes great sense. But aesthetically, the blower motor and everything, you'd have to cut into the wheel well, and the upper portion of the wheel well is actual structure to hold the front clip on. So you'd have to turn this into a full tubular front, just hold the, like a race car, and the idea is to have like a nice driver. So I'm going to be undoing all that, still using the stock AC lines, AC compressor, condenser, all the cooling system is all up in the front right here, leaving all that and just running 2 lines directly through the firewall, and then putting aftermarket AC, most likely from Vintage Air, under the dash. I'm going to cut out their handiwork here and put that back to stock. It's actually a structural piece that holds the front of the car, the front of the body on, so that's important. Also, they put the master cylinder on the wrong side of the steering column. Master cylinder and brake booster needs to get moved to the left towards the driver's side about 4 inches or so, and I can actually lower it a little bit right into that area where the wheel well is right there. That will put the pedal exactly where it needs to be. Since it got here the other day, it's only been here a couple of days, I've been coming in at night and doing a little bit of work on it, going through, seeing what we have and what we don't have. I've fixed the steering. It has a brake pedal. The ABS will work. Unfortunately, the gentleman told me he had the complete harness, and he does have the whole harness, but it looks like it was maybe attacked by animals or just ripped out of the car. In some places it's literally just like hacked. It couldn't even say it was a wire cutters. It looks like it was just hit with Sawzall in a few spots. There are some harnesses missing. This harness has so much damage, it's not really worth working on. So I have the stock ECM, instrument panel, trans module, and then everything, but then there are still some harnesses missing. So most likely I'm just going to go with Holley engine management and go with that. Because like I said, I laid it out. This is down the driver's side of the car, it goes to the back, left and right tail lights, reverse lights, blinkers. That is the pulse width modulated pump control right there. Wiring harness that goes to the factory fuel pump. The inertia switch, if you get bumped, the switch pops and shuts off the fuel pump. That's there. That's a wheel sensor. These two are the driver's seat. Then it goes under the dash, lower under the dash, lower firewall. This is upper firewall behind the dash. ECM goes out in front on the left. Gas pedal is right there. Harness goes over. And then this is passenger side seat. So I got it laid out in theory where it's supposed to be. That right there, that goes to the brake pedal. Cruise control cancel or trans unlock. Like I said, there's the gas pedal. But then you find stuff like, where the heck is it? Either way, every time I started that here, I see like right here, the whole harness missing. So, and then there's a big plug right here. I don't even know what this goes to. This just goes to a fuse box, but we don't have that fuse box. So, not trying to marry the thing. I'll figure something out and go from there. In the meantime, going through, finding parts. Pretty sure we got all the sheet metal, the bumper, headlights, stuff like that. But it's going to end up being a complete rewire on the body, and then obviously engine management. So since this whole thing started, I pretty much had to take out everything they installed. I cut the front frame horns off, moved the cooling system back. I'll build new ones that maybe are just a little different than that. Okay guys, so this is as much of a surprise to me as it may be to you. But I dug around, I found all the harness pieces, the old fuse box. This harness has been cut and hacked and eaten on by varmints. It's just a total mess. However, I laid it all out. I spotted some stuff that said passenger side power seat, driver side power seat, and those are really about the only clues. So I kind of knew where the left and the right was. I laid the whole harness out here on the floor. I took the front end harness and just looked at it and said, okay, well, I know this is a headlight plug for an original Crown Vic. So I set that up here. I've just laid it on the radiator. I got my power supply. I grounded. Got out a schematic, found out where the starter relay was. It's right there. Tested that, so I made sure the starter and the motor cranked over, and it does. Pulled this harness, as I recall. It's supposed to go through the firewall. I noticed that one of these plugs fits the AC box, so honestly, the harness starts over there, goes forward, plugs into the ECU, jumps up to the headlights, comes across the headlights, goes to the power supply, dips down to the starter motor and the air conditioning, charging system, fuel injection, stuff like that, comes back up, continues through the firewall, dips under the dash. There's a little plug that goes on the firewall, plugs back in here. So honestly, the harness is just one big circle around the whole engine compartment. These are some extra wires. I don't even know what they go to. I'm guessing passenger seat and or passenger door. And I know for a fact that this right here is for police car only. It's an auxiliary power that goes to the rear of the car. There's also a coaxial in there because the police cars come, I believe, pre-wired with like an antenna or something in the rear of the car. There are tons of stuff not hooked to anything. No idea what that goes to. I look at it and I see it's all weathered and cracked up. It generally means it's in the engine compartment or outside, not inside the cab. It's also on this side of that rubber plug. So this goes to something in the engine compartment, possibly, as I'm looking at it. I have this right here that is also in the engine compartment in that area. We'll do a little CSI. This is normally going to be attached to the firewall. It's just about in this area. And there, we found out where one more plug goes. So anyway, that's what I've been doing for this whole thing, just trying to get this sorted out. Never done this before. I generally just cut them all up, start from scratch, or, you know, call Holly or somebody and just get a complete kit. So that's clear that goes there. This is obviously the fan. So those two plugs are taken care of. Not going to be using any of that, but good to know. Fuse box was mounted to the battery box. I took out the battery tray, set it right there, make sure the grounds are hooked up. Moving over to this side, it gets a little more complicated. So I grabbed the shifter, I put it in park, make sure the car wouldn't, if it were to start, make sure it would not drive away, which I've done stranger. Once again, marker lights, fog lights or blinkers. I remember this plug had a rubber gasket on it, so that obviously that goes through the firewall. And there are 2 spots on the firewall where that goes, or 2 plugs that go through the firewall. One is there, the other one, well, it's here somewhere. I honestly just started plugging stuff in as if it lined up and plugged in and made some sort of sense. I did. Came with the instrument panel, boom, I plugged that in. This is under dash relay or fuses, and the only reason I know that is because it's like 24 inches from the gas pedal. The gas pedal is right here. This bolts to the firewall. I found a plug and a switch, and this is what controls the power pedal. Brake pedal is adjustable depending on how tall you are. You can lift or lower the brake pedal to your whatever comfort. Started snooping around. I saw that this was a turn indicator switch. There's no transponder or anything on here. Started snooping around here. I started recognizing some of these wires, and then I Googled them. I found a couple of plugs and a couple of sensors. This is the brake light sensor. Or no, not brake light sensor. This is either trans unlock, lockup, or cruise control cancellation. This is the brake light sensor right here. So I knew that that went directly underneath or right next to the brake pedal or to the gas pedal. So if that was all swung around on the Crown Victoria and just sort of stuffed in this direction, it would make some sort of sense. This panel is on the left side of the instrument panel, like basically right here. It's not going there, but it's giving me ideas of where things were. I believe this is a trans control module. I'm not sure. I'll have to run the part number. Heater AC, I just plugged it in just so I would have a reference as to that would be normally in the middle of the dashboard. So all this should be pulled over that way. If I was using this harness, which I will not be, I'll be thinning the heck out of it. Driver's side seat, I don't know what that is, but I do recognize red with a blue tracer, and that's generally crank. And that is you can unplug it. So that's possibly crank switch. Not absolutely certain. Moving backwards, this harness all the way to the back, I saw one of them had lights on it, and there was a decal that said reverse lights. So I just assumed that's the rear of the car. So I followed that back here. I saw a module sitting right there. I recognize that from our Crown Vic, the Crown Hick, and that is a pulse width modulation, basically fuel pump control module. So I knew coming out of that, there'd be a plug that went right to the fuel pump. I recognize this plug because I've bypassed them a million times. This is an inertia switch. If you listen right now, if you push it in, actually it's not triggered. If you get into an accident, it actually pops up its inertia switch and shuts off your fuel pump so you don't pump gas all over the ground. There it is. Now it won't go again. But I want to leave that fuel pump on. Set it down gently so it does not trigger. Those are just brake lights and tail lights and stuff. I've got power hooked to this thing. In this mess somewhere, there is a light switch. Here it is. I don't know if anything back there is grounded. Okay, but I hear a relay clicking when I turn this. Interior lights. See, those bulbs are possibly all broken. Either way, shut that off. Now, I'm going to try to do this with one hand just to see how this works. I know that the 2 green wires are voltage, constant 12 volts. So here's another thing too, is I most likely am going to get an aftermarket harness and ECM for this, just because I want to be able to tune it to mess with it. So 2 greens, this is voltage, this is an ignition source. Oh. Gas leaking in the back, instrument panel came on. So to bypass the gas in the back, I can just verifying that that shut off. I just triggered the inertia switch, will stop voltage from going to the gas pump. Now, plug this back in here. Everything comes to life. So let me just get that in there very good. Seems pretty good. This one powers another relay. Don't actually know what it's for. I just hear it. Now with those 2 plugged in, this is throttled by wire. So I should be able to move this and hear the starter motor, or hear the, yeah, see? You can hear the throttle body opening. Okay, so I don't actually know if a transponder is in this vehicle or anything is in here that will make it prevent it from starting, any sort of anti-theft, transponder, VAT, anything like that. I do know that I brought some starter fluid over here. Where the heck did I put it? Because the fuel pump is shut off, I will see if it is, oh, there it is right there. Let's see if it starts up. No fuel pressure, probably won't run for long. I went in the schematic, I found out which one of these relays was starter. Fuse number 105, I believe, is power for the starter. This one is constant 12 volts, so directly opposite of that. I'm not even looking at it with the camera. So this one is constant 12 volts. Directly across from that will be starter. That's right, it's running. Did you hear that? So there is no security system, no transponder, or anything like that. Let me just give it a little burp of that. I hate to run stuff on starter fluid, but it definitely tells you whether or not you have fuel pressure or ignition issues. I don't think it's getting any cooler than that right there. This thing runs quiet, doesn't make any crazy noises. Could be running out any second. It's wild that it's still running with just that little squirt. No gas leaking in the back because the fuel pump is off. Sounds like she's getting ready to die. Okay, it's probably long enough. I can find out. Okay, so the only ignition wire is purple with the orange tracer. Good to know. All right, that is absolutely awesome in my book. I picked this thing up for a song and a dance very inexpensively. I haven't really done much to it other than just fit stuff on it, just basically inventorying what I got with the deal. I pretty much got enough to put together a running driving truck. I am going to take the front end back off, take the cab off, fix the firewall, just smooth it out, and put aftermarket AC in it. But other than that, this thing's coming right along. That's right, we just cobbled just a giant pile of wires together. There's tons of stuff unplugged and not hooked to anything. And there's, oh, you gotta see this. It's running, car runs, and look at that harness right there. So clearly, a bunch of stuff we don't need. I don't know that the transmission's gonna work or shift correctly or anything like that, but I do know that it starts up, it runs, the motor sounds great. And that's good enough for me. Anyway, all right, guys. Hey, thanks a lot for watching this video. There's going to be plenty more to come up on this thing. I got to come up with a cool name for it. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you liked it. And look for more videos in the future. Leave some comments. Like the video. Thanks a lot. Oh, don't forget to share. See ya.